Hi, welcome. Every month we are releasing ISOs, and every month there's an article to show you what's new, and that's this video, and also a video how to stay rolling, because the idea is a little bit different than other Linux distributions. Here we just install once and keep on updating all the time. So that's what they call a rolling release. But nevertheless, ArcoLinux is quite makes lots of updates, and making an ISO every month has its advantages, because then you don't have to download all these packages, right? So that's one of the reasons why we do it, and of course always to get the updates. Our latest version of ArcoLinux, ArcoLinux D, and all the ArcoLinux Bs. The B is to build something, right? And the D is the most minimal one, but we're gonna talk about that right now. You are welcomed with the welcome app, and there is a new button, so we can say that as well here. Update ArcoLinux mirrors. There are two things you should always remember, and that's the Super Shift Enter is a good thing to remember as well, a keyboard shortcut, right? And you have tuner there. And inside etc there is pacman.d and the mirror list. That's an important file, and these are our mirror lists, and these are for the spin-offs. So the mirror list is the one from ArcoLinux. We are 90% ArcoLinux, 5% ArcoLinux, and 5% AWR. And I can be wrong a few percentages there, but that's the general idea, right? Now this particular file is important because I'm living in Belgium, you're living in Portugal, somebody else is living in Canada, Australia, China, Japan, etc. So the application reflector is going to look around and say, okay, what's the fastest ArcoLinux server around? And we get a list, right? So if one fails, then the next one kicks in, the next one kicks in, and so on. Because sometimes packages are not distributed at the same time, and of course they're looking for a package on a certain server and it's not there yet. It's in between somewhere, right? It's waiting for another package to upload or something like that, or it's just down, and then we get the package for somewhere else. So this thing is actually quite important. Now if you see the number 99, you already know where it's coming from. Well, I know where it's coming from. There is an application that we're trying out, so we'll see how it goes, right? We try this out, and it's actually a system D function that we have. You can actually have, well, every time you boot up, that's the rule. Every time you boot up, you're gonna check anyway, what is the fastest server now? Okay, so if you do 2 boots up during the day, well, you'll get every time you get a checklist again, what's the fastest now? And how can you check this thing? With system ctl and then status, and it's called update mirrors. So why is it here? It's there because we want our ISO, when you boot it up, you download it, burn it with Etcher, please, put it on a USB, boot it up, everything is set the way it should be on your hardware, motherboard, and all that. Then you want, of course, to have the fastest ArcoLinux mirrors. If you're living in Belgium, I don't want to have the mirrors from China, right? It's going to take forever to download the packages from China to Belgium. So rather have a server near to my country. And that's this particular thing. This is trying to get the latest servers from your place, from your internet, from your location. Where are you located in the world? So this application starts, well, application, yes, a service application, and the result is this. The result is you have 99. That's the trick to remember. 99. Then it's this guy that went out and looked in the world who is the fastest server, and it's of course again with the application reflector, Arch Wiki Reflector, and take a look. So It's great that it's not green or red or anything like it. It should be white because it's just at boot time, and then it just stops working because you have now the fastest system around. Now I'm telling you all of this. Well, first of all, because it's an attempt, we don't know if it's gonna work per se, but it's an attempt to have on the ISO to have the last and the fastest ArcoLinux servers. So chronologically, right, we have on the USB, on the live DVD, the best servers. If you're not on internet yet, you need to make sure that you are on internet, and that's this thing. So if we're talking about the live DVD or the live USB, make sure you are connected. You get a wireless choice here if you're on a laptop, and make sure first that you're connected. And that's why we have this button there. Because if you boot up and you're not connected yet, this service will not work, right? The service you just saw, the update there, it's not gonna work. Of course not. It wants to get to the internet and it can't because you're not connected to the internet. So you get a red sign, cannot update or cannot do that particular service, which makes sense, right? Because there's no internet. Now, if you're on the live DVD, the first thing you should do is try to get on the internet. So make connection here, or there's another tool, because that might not work. If this tool is not working, then you take an M2E. And an M2E is a network manager interface, but then in the terminal. And it's super easy to just activate the connection. This is of course VirtualBox and not wireless. We're talking about wireless now. Then you do this and you have your connection to the wireless, and then this button comes in handy. So if you are on the live DVD, you can click this button, and there you see reflector, nice important word for you to remember and to read. ArchWiki reflector, updating your mirror list. What is going to happen? Super Shift Enter. Why did I close that? We go back to pacman.d and the mirror list. 99, remember? 99. Luckily, nothing changed yet. So let me keep this open. You to that side, like this. Done, he says now. Something changed here. The text is not orange anymore. And then we click. Oh, we don't need to click any here because it's already 100. Aha. So that's how we do it. If you click here, everything works. Then 100 means it came, or the mirror list came into effect because you click this guy, right? If it's a 99, it's the service that's running. So one of the things you can use as well, of course, on a real machine, right? It's just a button and you get a result. Now you see, and we've been testing it with England, Belgium, Netherlands, Japan, Australia, and often this guy wins for any of us, right? So even Japan, there sometimes it's switched between the Japan server and Uzbek, but most of the time this guy is at the top of our list. As long as it's fast, right? That's the whole point of all these possibilities. We need to have an ArcoLinux server, not an Arco, an ArcoLinux server that's fast, because 90% of our files are coming from there. So Ctrl-Alt-T. Let me finish then the whole story. We have this service that we can also stop. So if you say, I have an issue with that particular application, and that might be, it's simple to stop any service with just disable, update, mirror services, and then you see this line removed, and an easy way to get it back is just then enable, right? Simple as that, enable, disable. So that's a service that's running. Then there are also the mirror, and the mirror S, and the mirror D, and the mirror A. How do I know that? Just type in alias and check out what we all have here as particular aliases, because that's the exact word. And mirror, mirror A, mirror D, mirror S are is always reflector, but it's always a little bit different. So if in problems, that's another possibility to get an ArcoLinux server. Now, there is even a third one, and we'll see if we're gonna keep this, because we have now 3 ways. And that's another way. That's a cron job that's running. So you have the complete vision of all the possibilities, and that's here also gonna happen. Let's say I boot up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and somewhere during the day, we don't know when, somewhere this cron is gonna decide, well, let's update the mirror list. So this is again the same application. It's reflector, but this time it has the number 80. So we know what thing is actually running what, right? So if we have a list, a mirror list with 80 at the top, then we know it's the cron job that's running. So it's important for you to know. It runs in the background. You don't have anything to do with it, but some of us really want to understand really what is this operating system doing. So there it is. We have now the full picture of what's going on with our servers, our ArcoLinux servers, and the mirrors for it. Whew. Okay, so that being said, we should have, right? Should have always the fastest server around. That's the point. If we do Control-T and we do an update, well, you know me, I type a lot of typos, and it's in there. Update will work as well if I type my password. Okay. So, but update is the official one, right? These are the typo aliases. So let's quickly go to the what's new, and I wanted to give to you that as well because it's part of what I'm going to tell right now. All right, let's go to the article. What is new? We go to, it's hidden away at this point in time here. And a lot of time, and that is really expressed in weeks, went into Calamares. Once again, we've done a lot of work last 2 months in how to understand Calamares, how to be as flexible as possible, versatile as possible, to give a complete freedom, to make ArcoLinux D the most minimal ISO, and it's reflected again in the May release. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's start first with telling you something that may be obvious, but might be not obvious to others. If you want to install a desktop, sometimes people start from the vision, I want to have a desktop, that particular desktop. Okay, if you start looking at that way, then option 1 is, why not take the ArcoLinux D ISO, that's the most minimal one we have, and choose the desktop in Calamares. Click, I want to have XFC. Next, 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 next. Option 2, why don't you install or use the ArcoLinux D ISO? Do not click anything, just say next, next, never choose anything, and use scripts. They have been all reworked. Use the scripts from github.com, ArcoLinux D. Edit them, change them to what you like. They are also very minimal, these scripts. We don't give any long lists of lots of applications. Why? Because ArcoLinux has changed because of the Calamares. During the Calamares, during the installation, Calamares provides you with lots and lots and lots of packages. You decide at that point in time, this, that, and that, and that extra, right? So, but you can all skip all the extra packages and say, I'll decide later on with a script, sudo pacman -s firefox. It's installed. Option 3, desktop. Why not use ArcoLinux B ISO? We have 16 desktops, which results in 16 ISOs. ArcoLinux B XFCE, ArcoLinux B Plasma, which is basically the one I'm using now here. That's, well, okay, trust me, this is Plasma. Or option 4, you can install the desktop using ArcoLinux Tweak Tool. Don't forget, we have the Ctrl-Alt-E. Ctrl-Alt-E is providing us with a tweak tool. and we have a tab in there, and the tab says install. 16 of them, and JWM being the last one, right? So it's so easy than just clicking a button. We've added also a text and some more fail safes in the backend. Install Deepin first before any other desktop to avoid conflicting packages. You'll see later on in the what's new that's important. We'll come back to that. So the ArcoLinux tweak tool. 4 ways to actually decide how should I get to a system that works with that particular desktop that I like. All right, I let this text stand because I still get a few questions, not many, but a few questions that people say, I do not get it. I want to install a tiling window manager and I don't know what to do. Press buttons and kill this application or move that application on the side. So if you're not comfortable with tiling window managers, because that's of course the issue, people boot into a tiling window manager these days and not into an XFCE transportation mechanism. That's new since a month ago. So we've made 16 videos, all desktops, how to install ArcoLinux B ISO. And you see me installing the ArcoLinux B Qtile and then, okay, get rid of this, get rid of that. If this happens, if that happens. These are the keyboard shortcuts to the right. So you need to know the keyboard shortcuts. But of course, if it's the very, very first time ever you came on the tiling window managers, I completely understand. That's not easy. There's no menu, there's nothing, there's just a keyboard shortcut. So don't forget, ArcoLinux B. That's the website where you learn how to build your own ISO and say, forget it, I won't download anything. I'm gonna build my own ArcoLinux ISO, my own ArcoLinux D ISO, my own ArcoLinux B ISO, and you follow. Like for example, another one, BSPWM. You scroll down and you see here how to install ArcoLinux B. Okay, so don't worry, there is support, there it is. A lot of time, like I said, weeks went into Calamares, and it's paying off. It really is. It gives us a very versatile system, and let's go into it. Please keep providing us ideas, because Vim Plugin is from a user saying, okay, why not add this to the list in Calamares, Vim Plugins. Okay, it's in there. We've added simple screen recorder, and we've added ArcoLinux Termite themes. Forgot those. We're using now the version 3.2.23. More info on the GitHub of Calamares, just to make sure that everybody knows Calamares is not from us and it's free of charge, and we get great support. Calamares then regarding to the ArcoLinux D ISOs, we're actually very proud of what we've achieved, and then you be the judge, of course, if it's merited, but it is the most minimal ISO we have, and it contains 8 packages of ArcoLinux, and the rest is just Arch. So it's the closest possible ISO we can provide you to the Arch Linux ISO. So it's not the same thing, it is never, right? But it is the closest one. If you use that one and then install XFCE, you'll get the feeling of an Arch Linux look. Not Sardi icons, not Arc themes, but the look when you are in phase 5, and we encourage you to learn more and more and more, to go at a certain point in time to arcolinuxd.com and say, let's go to ArcoLinux, to Arch Linux, sorry, and install it the Arch way, like install Arch Linux from archlinux.org and go through the phases. That's what we stand for, a learning path, a university to learn things. So in essence, and that's important for you to know, that ArcoLinux D is in essence a net install. If you have only 1 gigabyte as an ISO, it means all the rest has to come from the internet. So the more, well, first of all, if you got no internet, Calamares won't install a thing. It will install ArcoLinux D, right? But not anything you selected during the Calamares installer. So make sure you've got internet. That's first. Second thing, the more you select, the more you need to download. Do you have a fast internet connection? The more you need to install. Do you have a fast computer? Did you have enough space, for instance, on VirtualBox? And the longer it will take to install ArcoLinux D. So we do get users coming to say, hey, it's stuck at around 80%. So remember that number, around 80%. At that point in time, Calamares is going to look what has the user selected. Okay, those packages, if you selected everything, is going to download everything, check everything, install everything. So go and have a walk around the block or something, right? Or have some food, something like that, because it's gonna take a while. Some examples of what we threw out. So ArcoLinux D is the most minimum one. It means that's out, that's not installed, which means all these packages have been added to the Calamares installer. So everything that you see that's not on the ISO has to come from the internet. Okay, but in the end, you get the most minimal approach possible on ArcoLinux. ArcoLinux will always be more minimal, right? We've made it a little bit more visual. Some of these elements are actually quite important, right? So the terminals got their own window, and you choose the terminal you like. There's always going to be Termite, so Termite is not in here because it is already on the ISO. Anything that's in the ISO is not in Calamares. We have here graphics, Blender, Darktable, Digicam, Krita, Pirinta, maybe more. You have other ideas to put here? Let us know. And the most important, file managers. So Thunar is not on ArcoLinux D. You choose it to install it with possible elements here. And these guys are just open. That's the main difference between the other the version from April. These are standard already open. Instead of clicking everything, this is already visual. That one, click, 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 done. And of course, since we have a number 16, 16th desktop, we have also a choice here. Install desktop JDLM, click. Or be more conservative and say just that one, that one, and that one. It's all about freedom. That's really is the versatility and all that. That's important. And that's the ArcoLinux D ISO. I believe it's my eyes the most important ISO at this point in time to experiment, to be the Sherlock Holmes you maybe want to be, to have how does everything fit together, right? What Lego blocks do I need? That's fun. Calamares for ArcoLinux and ArcoLinux B. Again, same idea here. Terminals. Let's give people the choice to install more things. Let's give them the choice for graphics, and let's give them the choice for the file managers. All also on ArcoLinux and ArcoLinux B. But different choices sometimes, because the fact that this is a flagship ArcoLinux installer. So that means that you have already lots of things installed, and you install more stuff. We've done a lot of work in ArcoLinux scripts on GitHub, so maybe we should have a look at it. So it's super simple. I mean, it's GitHub. Probably if you just say in Google ArcoLinux D GitHub, there you have it, right? And these are the 16 guys we have. Well, a little bit more, but at least the 16 guys, and the rest is in development. And we can get our knowledge here. You can install the display manager and the desktop. Install the development software, that's for us, right? Development software, that's us. The sound, the Bluetooth, the printer, the soundbar, the laptop, etc. and it's all just already tested, it works, and copy paste it, guys, clone it and make it your own. Decide what you want to install, decide what you don't want to be, don't want to install. It's here. Use the scripts. What is the vision of ArcoLinux D? So the idea is to download the ArcoLinux D and say next, 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 next. Choose your language and where you live and all that, but never install packages. We install the packages here. If you want to see a quick check, here we say install Firefox, install Sublime Text, install Flameshot, install Melt, etc. It's just a word in a list, and the list gets installed. So it's quite a little bit, it is a little bit different. It's not a sudo pacman -s, but this is so easy to maintain. So that's the reason why we've done it. So a list of packages that is going to loop through and install everything. Okay, sounds simple enough. We want you to give more freedom, so anything goes. LightDM together with Plasma, or SDDM together with Plasma, or SDDM together with Mate, and then less packages from Mate or for ArcoLinux, and so on and so on, right? Anything, any Lego block should be able to fit into any other system or Lego block or environment. Anything is possible. We want to have less ArcoLinux packages on the final SSD or hard disk. So if I don't do anything, I don't install anything with Calamares, I'm going to check what I have done, and I need to be, it needs to be as small as I can. Smallest possible footprint. 8 packages of ArcoLinux. That's it. So if you say sudo pacman -r, anything ArcoLinux related, well, then you have an Arch Linux system, right? But it's not the Arch Linux way, because we're using Calamares and the graphical installer, and there's more drivers installed, right? So it's still not phase 5. There's still difference. But it's graphical. I mean, you get pop-ups, click, 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 next, 10 minutes later, you have a system. And then you let the scripts here run until you don't like them anymore. Because scripts provide a minimum of applications, not a maximum. Why? Because our Calamares these days provides with a lot of packages. There is no need anymore to make scripts and install all the packages. No, there's no need. So it's a minimal. The scripts provide you with a minimal of applications. And the fun stuff is, and that is, I think, remarkable, that after you run the script 100, you get the feel of Arch Linux. So if you're still not ready for phase 5, if you're still not okay with installing this Archway thing, well, then you still can have a go with this. Because after running script 100, you have actually this look, and that's the look from Arch Linux. Phase 5, sudo pacman -s, xfc4, xfc4 goodies, no ArcoLinux near, that's it. So you can try this out. But if you run then script 500 and 600, then you get our look. So that's the fun for me. And then I installed everything and I said, okay, Mate looks like this in the beginning, and ArcoLinux makes it this. And that's the fun, right? Developing and making new things and themes. That's the fun of development. So I'm not going to click everything, but you know what I mean. An after and a before. And well, in the meantime, we have a completely different deeping, but that's nothing to do with us. That's deeping development. That's in China, and Arch Linux pushed through the newest, the latest of them. So, well, one more. Cinnamon looks like this, and that one looks like that. So the before and the after is just fun to see what Lego blocks come together, and then finally you get something. All right, so here we can skip a few things, but nevertheless, gonna say again, and you have this button, update Arch Linux mirrors. In the meantime, we've made the button actually a bit smaller, I guess. So that's always a work in progress, our applications. And we can update the Arch Linux mirrors. So that's the explanation I gave in the beginning. NM2E, don't forget it. The guys who have laptops, a great tool to in the terminal, just Control-T, NM2E, only for the wireless guys. That's it. All right. So also an image here of 99. So that's the service that's running. Okay. We hope that's gonna work, that the DVD or the USB is indeed showing you the fastest server around from ArcoLinux. We've changed also the button here. There's the button. Let's try it out. So Ctrl-Alt-W, Ctrl-Alt-W, welcome, W, and we give you this as a reminder, right? If you start experimenting, remember X-Cursor Breeze is going to conflict with that one, and Breeze is also gonna give lots of dependencies. Visual Studio Code is conflicting with this, so choose this or that, choose this or that. Synapse is gonna conflict with Catfish. And LibreOffice, it's either or, VirtualBox, either or, and as well, number 6 here, Budgie Desktop conflicts with Catfish, remove Catfish. This particular line we've done in the ArcoLinux tweak tool, we've implemented that if you install Budgie Desktop, we remove Catfish. So you know it's gone if you try out Budgie. Otherwise, Budgie won't install, right? So there are things you should know when working on ArcoLinux. Packages conflict and there's a reason for it. But if you know, and here's a reminder, that's cool. Okay, so that's what we've done here. Then the ArcoLinux tweak tool, we've just saw a little an image already. So we've decided to try out this look, and it's an icon look. And I've already one comment, and of course we had the same idea, and to make something like an hover kind of text over it, but that's just not technically possible. So making a hover over it. So I've made a video for that, so I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but basically let's just click the icons. So the desktop installer, and then it's a theme for the grubs. This is a shield, so ad blocker is a shield. When you enter the system, it's a door, LightDM auto login, a terminal for NeoFetch, the store for Pacman. Every package comes from our repos, right? From actually the store. Termite themes, sign like that, another theme switcher, and then the last one, the ZSH themes. Now the last two guys are new, so let's go into detail in the text underneath. When I was experimenting with ArcoLinux D and making all the scripts and all that, I noticed that if you do not select the ArcoLinux termite themes, you get a gray termite, which is not transparent and actually quite ugly, right? So I decided to make the themes, the tabs that are not used, that are not installed, packages that are not present, to actually make sure that the tab is present, and that we say to the system here, look, if you want to have this tablet to work, then you should install ArcoLinux termite themes. So button, right? So this applies to the ArcoLinux D ISO, but also of course to the ArcoLinux, and then later on putting the spices of ArcoLinux on ArcoLinux, because we are, again, right, you know, based on ArcoLinux. So a message to the people, look, you did not install that, so you can't use the tab, basically. And then you can use it if it's installed. Same applies for the theme switcher, which is a great tool, but you should be on i3 or on Awesome, otherwise you don't see it. So then afterwards you can switch, and the same applies for ZSH. So if you're not on ZSH, well, then you can't change anything. That's obvious. So if you change to ZSH, and which is actually super simple, alias I recommend you read it through. Here is 2 bash and 2 ZSH. I don't want to type all that. So there's a nice alias. 2 bash, 2 ZSH, done. Okay, so we've changed those. And the major change is that we are now completely going to ArcoLinux logout, which is Super X. This is ArcoLinux logout. We keep developing it. There are lots of things to change, lots of things to do here, and change colors if you want to. So it's all here, save settings, done. And this means that 4 packages actually, and 2 tabs are gone. So we had a tab for OB logout and we had a tab for Slim themes. They're both out. They will not be continued. They're discontinued, abandoned, and will not be developed anymore. But if you still have the package, you'll still see the icons. But we guys who are staying rolling and following the ArcoLinux ISO, well, they will remove these packages, which means you won't see the tabs either. So ArcoLinux logout is the next tool to log out. Basically, just saw what happens. They log out, reboot, shut down, and also lock. So that's gonna be our future endeavor, because it's gonna be always improved. So ArcoLinux logouts, one of the improvements, for example, is that it's also possible to get another date, another different format. You can have seconds. I believe we had seconds in before, 0235. And in the meantime, the PM is gone. I should update the picture, because in Chinese and Japanese, of course, this was not functional. It was a strange looking icon, or even, well, not a text. So I believe at this point in time, the proper image is 0235 without PM. Gonna update that later. ArcoLinux battle log screen. We can add images. So if we do Super X and we say log, right, we get an image, but there are more images. And we have a tool for it, the battle log screen GUI. And it has now the button default, because we were navigating to a particular place and say, okay, my wallpapers are there. But if you want to go back to the original user share backgrounds ArcoLinux, it was not possible. So with the default button, we can get back to these guys. Okay. We have a new custom action for tuner. So git ahead, maybe something we should, well, yeah, why not? Git ahead, why not Google it? It's an application, one of many you can download, which is going to help you work with Gits. So Git is a way to work together, and let's maybe go for the GitHub for Eric Dubois and put in the light ArcoLinux Nemesis. There you are, ArcoLinux Nemesis. This is what I install after every clean installation. So you could do a download zip. Do not recommend to do that. Learn to use Git, which is not that difficult. Here's a button, click, all right? Then go to open a new window, go to Eric. I have this particular thing I put always in the folder called data. And in here you say open terminal, git clone. That's the only thing you need to remember. Clone me something like Clone Wars, think about that. Git clone, Control Shift V. Enter. Why am I explaining all this? Because if you have Git ahead installed, it's gonna work if you got it installed. And it's not standard on the ISO, because we don't want to explode our ISOs in megabytes. So if you are indeed using Git, and if you like Git ahead, then you do sudo pacman -s git ahead bin. That's the guy. bin binary, meaning super fast install. Boom, installed, F12. Right mouse click, open with Git ahead, choose the color. I usually take the white one for visibility reasons, for readability reasons. And then you see what I've done the last time. So the last thing was writing something away for the fix for the PAMAC AOR. So you remember these images, if they're not showing up, and this time they're showing up, so I can probably delete the fix, because if it's not working, if the icons are not there, I get this sign with a blanco sign like it's empty, then you have a problem with this PAMAC AOR thing, which is coming actually from Manjaro, guys, just so you know. So you can see so easily what I've changed in the past, and it's super easy, and I'm using it more and more to develop ArcoLinux, to quickly see what was it again that I changed. Okay, that. So Git ahead. People who say I lose all my settings and all that, well guys, learn to use GitHub. Put your settings online, git clone it like I do now, see what I do. Putting back stuff. This is putting back stuff. This is putting back my personal settings. These are my personal settings. I've made nice little scripts here, and every clean installation, which is a lot as a developer, right? I run these guys one after the other, and that's another tool. I'm telling too much, but it is probably, hopefully, educational. So. Check out the other scripts I use, Arco Get Started 6, and that's all I'm gonna say. All explained on arcolinux.com, of course. So download it with this button, direct download, and go ahead. That's all I'm gonna say. So Git ahead is new, great, easy way to follow up things. What did I change? What did we change, right? If you wanna follow up our Gits, can be done. This is an idea of, I think, Mr. Green. I think, yeah, there he is. I call him Mr. Green, but it's Gree33N, right? So a little bit difficult to pronounce. So Mr. Green for me. And please, guys, give us give tips and tricks, because the i3 was there for 3 years, and it has been so much improved because of the fact that we're now using a particular package. And what happens is, if you do not use the package, you get Control-T, right, the terminal, and then you get 50-50 of your screen. If you do again Control-T, and that's the third terminal, you get 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3, and it stays like it stays vertical, right? It stays all next to each other. But with auto tiling on, we get more a feeling on like BSP.lm, for example. And then first you get half, and the third screen is gonna be the half of the left side, for example. Depends what is active at the point in time. So you get 1/4 and 1/8. So that's the new look, and people already discovered that, of course. They say, oh my god, what happened? Updated the system, did scale, and then my i3 is totally different. So we really like this much better. It's much more readable, and we thank Mr. Green here for the tip. So that's an improvement for i3. We have a little fun script, so you type in monster and you get this little guy here. That's cool for screenshots and all that. Scrots, as they say. And if you don't know what a scrot is, just type in scrot. Now you take an image. You've taken an image of the screen. So ArcoLinux ISO, general improvements. We've removed the following package off. That's the flagship, right? Just to point out, that's the ArcoLinux ISO. So OB logout, it's out. OB logout themes, of course, the themes. If you don't have the application, themes is out as well. Don't have slim themes is out as well. And with the stay rolling, and that's another video, how to stay rolling, we have everything covered in the bin, stay rolling 2020-4.5, remove OB logout, slim lock completely. So that's this get it out of your system, and go ahead with us with ArcoLinux logout. And that's the stay rolling script. I did not put git ahead in there because it really is a choice. If you don't use git, why install an application, right? We've changed some things in LXQT, or Qt. So Super X is gonna be the same everywhere. Super X is this, right? Ctrl Alt K is gonna be this. Okay, it's same. Ctrl Alt K is gonna be the same. I believe I clicked something. Oh, my bad. Everything is loaded up again. How fun is that? So great. Okay, so Quantum is another little thing we've changed. I'm gonna try to get rid of the other package and result in one quantum configuration. And being on, I think it's LXQT, it needed a few applications to be following the Arc theme, because that's basically what we're doing. We want a consistent desktop that's gonna look always the same, whatever package we have. And that's decided with our Quantum Manager. Okay, Quantum Manager. Let me quickly show. I'm really in an educational mood these days, basically. Application theme, that's where I should go. And then Arc Dark. Here are all the things we say, this guy, that guy should follow Arc Dark. Okay. Then more cleanup, removing stuff from ArcoLinux B. That one is out, which means it goes on the Calamares installer in the configuration. We've made a new package for the ArcoLinux Spices. If you don't know what it yet is, it's actually super interesting. Once, and that's of course a once. Once you decide that you want to learn about ArcoLinux, how to install ArcoLinux, at some point in time you're successful, right? You have an ArcoLinux, and I say yes. But then you decide, oh my god, there is no alias here, there's no update, there is no this, there's no that, and you want to install a few packages from ArcoLinux. Maybe not everything, but a few of them that you're missing. And that's where this application comes in. Spicing up Arch means getting ArcoLinux elements in. And where's that particular application? Since you're on ArcoLinux, you can't install anything from ArcoLinux. There are no repos, there is no pacman.d and then a mirror list from ArcoLinux and all that. So you need to go to download apps, ArcoLinux, ArcoLinux Spices application. Okay, let's have a look how much time it has been downloaded already. Okay, 820 times. Okay. And that's all you need to know. If you're on ArcoLinux and want to get stuff in from ArcoLinux, this is what you should do. And that's what we've done. We've added yay-bin to the list of things to install. So yay-bin, or yay in short, because this is a binary, is going to help you. ArchWiki AOR helper. It's one of the AOR helpers, and we have Trizen as a backup if this guy fails, and it happens sometime because of updates or things like that, servers being down or anything really. You have a fallback. You need to have a fallback. That's why we have also 3 browsers on our flagship. ArcoLinux B Cinnamon has been modified a little bit, but it's nicer. The clock is now really in the bottom right here, and it was somewhere in the middle. I said, oh no, that's not possible. The clock should be here. So we've changed a little bit our toolbar for Cinnamon, not XFCE. This is normal for XFCE. I did not come around to making some JWM tutorials, but it's not that difficult either. But nevertheless, it's still on the to-do list to make tutorials, because all the knowledge of all the desktops is on here. Awesome articles, right? If you want to learn awesome, 25 articles just about awesome. Go and have a look. So that's on my to-do lists. JWM, nothing here, just the installation, which is already a great deal, but Ciao. If time allows, I'll make tutorials for JWM. And of course, well, development continues. Well, to be frank, we have not developed anything really. Did not have the time for DWM or Spectrum WM yet, but it's on the list. That's on the to-do list, and probably Carly should come first as well. So that's another project we have. And if time allows, and that's a big if time allows, we go to this website, ArcoLinux ISO, take a look what the idea is, start here, choose your project and so on, and we should definitely make a Carly 6. So it's a storytelling kind of thing, starting from scratch. What did we change? A new GitHub, new ISO. Every month we try to make a new one. So you have a customized ArcoLinux ISO where you can say, that's my brand, that's my ISO, I've built it from scratch. That's the idea there. All right, how to stay rolling. The video is out. What is new? I'm gonna make this video. This video is gonna be that particular, well, gonna take that place up. And good to know, staying up to date, stay rolling. Again, here the Nemesis. So you've seen it in this video, what the Nemesis is. It's my personal thing to get things started. And we've shown Git ahead with that. But if you're really new, well, try to learn more about aliases. See some more videos about update, about Skel, what it does. It will overwrite your elements, but there's backup Skel to learn more, and so on and so on. So do check it out to avoid frustrations. If you're indeed stuck with the Calamares installer, there is a huge article just about Calamares. That's one, that's this guy, Calamares. But there has been so much written already about Calamares, so do check it out. And that's it for me, guys. That's what is new. So it's a lot of work we've done. Check it out, and ISOs will be there promptly, which means it's gonna be there on the 16th of May. All right, cheers.